Well, ladies and gentlemen, I have no doubt that you are as excited as we are here, and the crowd is in this arena. Gary Tonon versus Dillon Danis is underway. 81.6 kilo no-gi match. Absolutely no love lost between these two. Josh Palmer, Tom Barlow, Nick Osipchek calling all the action here from Polaris 5, live and exclusive on UFC Fight Pass.
I think they should have done a loser has to change their haircut a bit on this one, lads.
I mean, you know, Dillon Danis has been saying a lot of things about the squad in general and about Gary Tonon, and Tonon has been dressing up in various props and costumes to pretend to be Dillon. Even went and got a henna tattoo yesterday on his arm for the weigh-ins.
Now it's going to be interesting to see how this one gets to the floor. Both men prefer the top game.
So obviously a lot of people wanted to see this match since ADCC 2015, where Gary was able to grab a heel hook on Dillon about 6.5 minutes into the match. Both these gentlemen are going to be at ADCC again next month, but right now they get to square off and sort out their business here. Both these guys still incredibly young as well. Oh, Gary looking for that scissor entry. Tonon 25, Danis 24. So here's Danis on top, looking to pass. He's got that underhook of the leg all the way around.
Danis, the self-proclaimed most controversial figure in the sport, thriving off the notoriety.
Ooh, big, strong arm drag position for Tonon. He's not letting that go. The interesting thing about Tonon's... Oh, tries the arm drag to the inside trip. I was going to say, the interesting thing about Tonon's game is he usually gets so loose and relaxed, and he thrives off those obscure, scrambly positions that you think there's no possible way he can really be offensive from here. But all of a sudden, he rolls or dives, and you know he finds that 4-1-1 leg lock.
Yeah, it's such loose style of jiu-jitsu. It really allows him to roll through different techniques.
And it's really a product of the submission-only game, where you know points are not a concern. You don't really have to worry about if someone passes. You can just regard, and he drops. Tonon does have excellent wrestling. I mean, we've seen it time and time again. Not afraid to really wrestle his way into positions. I mean, this is a guy who went toe-to-toe with Husma Palhares here on this show.
What an epic matchup that was. If you haven't seen it, you've got to watch the replay.
Yeah, and in their previous match in the ADCC, Tonon was able to take Danis down a number of times, I think.
Gary showing his right hip as though he's going to try and hit that kind of Basami leg entry. Danis matching him hip for hip. Been a tough competition year for Dillon Danis since he split from Marcelo Garcia Academy. Lost both his opening round matches at Worlds. And obviously he had that tough match against Jake Shields on another submission-only show, losing in overtime. But I mean, looked very good when we saw him at Polaris 4, tail end of last year, beat Jackson Souza by inside heel hook.
But as you say, he's still so very young and really considers himself a martial artist, not just a grappler. Very vocal about how he's one day looking forward to transitioning into MMA. Bellator, in fact, very soon.
Of course, his mentor in MMA is the notorious Conor McGregor. Been spending a lot of time with Conor in the run-up to his second Nate Diaz fight, trying to tighten that wrestling and jiu-jitsu game up.
And you can see the similar effect rubbing off on him, the chip on the shoulder almost playing up to the crowd and just knowing how to get the attention.
Tonon again looking for that arm drag.
Tonon's really being a lot more active than Danis is in this match so far, looking for the different takedowns. Danis seems more concerned with kind of pushing him around the mat.
Yeah, it's interesting that they keep locking up with these kind of open palm grips and then sometimes with the fingers interlaced.
It's very common in wrestling. Very nice double leg.
What a great sprawl as well by Danis. Tonon quickly rolling, looking for an attack.
Yeah, I honestly thought Danis was going to complete that takedown, but Tonon was going to complete that takedown, but Danis able to get his hips engaged at the last moment. Knee in the middle here. Oh, and a good bite of the heel for Gary Tonon. Just getting dragged across the mat by Dillon Danis. First third of this main event done. Look at Tonon shelve that foot right up on the shoulder. Such a tight grip. He's going to use it to try and haul himself down onto the kneecap. Switching to the top leg now. Danis manages to clear the knees as he rolls his hips out. I was going to say we should just find a reset position here. But Tonon in standing open guard with a grip on the legs.
Yeah, it's a good position for Tonon. He can start working to attack those legs.
Oh, and he just lets Danis sit into his ashigarami. Both legs controlled now for Danis. See if we see a transition to the other leg. Can't see what Tonon is doing from our angle to re-pummel here.
Yeah, Gary just looks he's sticking on that ankle and trying to get his hips into the right position. But, Danis was able just to free himself up and escape.
I was really impressed a few moments ago with the control Tonon was able to get on the heel, and really at the end of that leg, he propped it up on the shoulder, pinched his shoulder and his neck in, and really was able to get a great deal of grip from that position. 8 minutes left here. Hashtag Polaris5 at Polaris Pro event on Twitter. Let us know what you think of tonight's action.
Tonon's gone back to that same position where he's able to entangle the leg. And now he's got it a little bit deeper as well.
Dillon very comfortable throughout all of that, but it's still warning signs. Can't get too complacent.
Dillon seems very just comfortable just to keep defending, not expose himself to anything.
Well, Manshikara in the corner of Dillon Danis, calling for him to put Tonon on the defensive, engage some of his passing ability. Oh, good attempt at the back. Tonon is not free of this yet.
Tonon's transitioning straight away towards the legs
Toe
of
hold
Danis.
by Gary Tonon here.
Yeah, he's got the figure four grip looked up. The question is, can he actually isolate the rest of the hip or the knee enough to make use of it? And he can't, as he follows Danis back to the feet. So one question a lot of people had about this match was, how have each of these guys progressed since the last time we saw them? Because it has been 2 years. Obviously, Dillon's been through a few up and downs as he sprawls a shot here. Gary looking to invert, grab this leg. Whereas Tonon is training relentlessly, competing relentlessly. And that was going to be the question. What's the rate of progression for each of them been since the last time they fought?
And you know, depending on your setup, you know, your lifestyle, your camp, how well you're getting on with your coaches and how long you've been with your coaches, that can all affect your performance as well.
Yeah, the longer the fight progresses, the more slippery this is going to become for Tonon to get a really good bite on the knee.
Yeah, Danis looking to pass again. Ooh. Tonon accidentally contacting the face as he drives forward. He's really having to chase after Danis. It definitely is Tonon initiating the vast majority of the situations here. And that's obviously all going to play into the judging criteria.
Yeah, as we approach the final third, as a judge, you'd have to give the advantage here to Tonon.
Yeah, our three judges, Matt side tonight, Dave Enuma, Dan Hardy, and Mark Goddard, all going to be making the determinations should this match go the distance. Something we've seen from Tonon before, the flying triangle attempts.
Yeah, Tonon's definitely been the aggressor in all of these situations.
Well, this is Danis. Looking, you see how Tonon just drives the leg away. Well, Danis trying to go belly down here on this straight footlock. Tonon trying to re-pummel for the inside position with his right leg. You see just how, again, how he has to chase Danis across the mat. We're going to reset in the middle. Well, let's see if Tonon can get an entry from this top position. Most of the time he's had to do it from a guard. Danaher calling for passing pressure and throw-bys for the legs. I mean, it's so funny. Gary Tonon used to be known as the guy who would get on your back and absolutely wring your neck for all it was worth. And then all of a sudden, the leg lock started coming through. And the Danaher Death Squad, now renowned for really driving the modern leg lock game forward. Tonon having to follow him up, just not able to keep the control right up on the hip.
Yeah, Danis is really exploding out of any of these leg attacks, making it difficult for Tonon to connect to different things. As
you said, Tom, it's going to get slipperier and slipperier. I mean, we're what's 11 and a half minutes almost into this match. Danis really with a nullification game, but he shucks to the back. He looks to try and chain this pass together. Now immediately disengages, keeps his hips back, hides his feet.
Gary's corner asking for him to keep the pace real high for the remainder of the match.
Yeah, I think you know, these guys they're working at quite a rate. The entries have to be explosive, the escapes have to be explosive. Tonon with a more traditional half guard here.
Tonon coming in off a recent win against Shinya Aoki, who was here cornering earlier tonight on Polaris 5.
Yeah, Shinya Aoki's actually definitely made an effort to put himself mat side to watch this one. Oh, look at that lever with the elbow. Danis immediately disengages, frames away, takes a quick look at the clock. Tonon trying to shoot, but
looks like Danis is waiting for him to shoot and then trying to wrap up the neck. Similar to what we saw in the Strauss-Shields fight earlier.
Yeah, you're right, Tom, but as we saw, it's often not enough. It's not enough to rely on your A game plan.
Well, they're starting to talk to each other a little bit, just in terms of mannerisms. Tonon shoots clean from the outside. .145 left in this one. I mean, there's no doubt really in my mind that Tonon is the guy working the most. You know, his work rate's been phenomenal, but just can't seem to get a purchase on Danis at any point.
Yeah, Danis seems just content to kind of disengage any time that he gets in any trouble, not really being aggressive in his attacks.
Got to be honest with you guys, I thought we were going to see a little bit more emotion on display here tonight, a little bit more, you know, desire to really go after it.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, you know, neither of these guys is outwardly showing any animosity for the other particularly, are they? But we know it exists. Tonon's going to look to jump in here. You can see Danis moving his hips as far away as he can. Oh, nice sweep single. Good takedown for Gary Tonon. That's all points on the judges' scorecards. 40 seconds left here. See if he steps over for that far leg. Well, there's a lot of finger waving, but
doesn't pay the bills.
Oh, straight through outside Ashi maybe. Oh, he's on the outside heel hook.
Looks pretty deep and tight. This is how
15
last time
seconds
it finished
left.
The same thing.
And Tonon's unlocked. He's got to climb up higher on the thigh here. Looking for the outside heel hook. And time expires here. Gary Tonon and Dillon Danis go the distance, good pace throughout. But really, the story of that match, Gary Tonon with a respectful bow at the end, driving forward repeatedly. Let's take a look at some of the replays here.
Again, you can see just Tonon using interesting attacks, just continually working forward. He was really the more aggressive throughout the whole fight, trying to catch Danis and trying to keep hold of him.
I think Danis is going to be a little bit disappointed with his own performance tonight. He didn't really leave it all on the mats. Could have taken a little bit more risks and just put the extra 5–10% in.
Yeah, indeed. Really, it was always Tonon that had the best attacks throughout this whole match, particularly at the end when he got deep on that knee finally. There's just not quite enough time to finish it.
Dillon engaging with the audience here. This was a nice single leg takedown at the end of the match here by Tonon.
Yeah, it's beautiful work.
Okay, let's go over to referee Nick Brooks to make it official and hear from Josh Palmer speaking to the two contestants.
By unanimous decision, Gary Tonon.
We're here with our winner, Gary Tonon. Gary, give us your thoughts on the fight. It looked like every time you got a bite of something, he was pulling away and trying to create some space.
Guys, there was a lot of social media banter leading up to this match, and I'd just like to say to Dillon, I apologize for absolutely fucking nothing. The two-time champ does what he fucking wants. In all seriousness, guys. Guys, like, he did much better than the previous fight. I didn't submit him, okay? There's no real clear victor in my opinion. I'd love to have a match with him again. It was a pleasure. You know, sorry I didn't get the submission tonight, guys. I tried really hard, did what I could.
How's your camp been coming in for this one? You've got a lot of competitions in a short space of time.
Yeah, camp for leading up to this camp was very ADCC related, so my jiu-jitsu's been a little bit more tactical recently. Not as much submission orientation, but we tried to cycle back to that, and I still felt like, you know, I was able to get off some attacks. You know, not quite get close enough to finish, though.
This is your 5th appearance here on Polaris. You've been on every one of our shows. You enjoying coming back to England?
I am indeed. It's nice to finally be in London. All right, yeah. All right, beautiful venue, and thanks to all you guys for coming out. Really appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, your main event winner, Gary the Lion Killer Tonon. Here with our runner-up, Dillon Danis. Dillon, run up to this match, a lot of back and forth. You called the guys one-trick ponies. What do you want to say after this match?
I don't think there's anything to say, you know. He beat me fair and square, and that's it. He's a really good grappler, man, and he did what he had to do.
How's your preparation been for this one? You've had a change of camps and a few other things going on.
Everything was good. It was 100%, and you know what? I just got to fix the mistakes that I made and then come back stronger.
Was there anything different coming at you from the last time you guys fought?
No, I know what he's good at. I know what he does, and you know, the first time I just fucked up. You know, this time I was more aware of all his submissions and stuff, and I felt fine in there. You know, I would like to do it a no time limit match.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dillon Danis.